This episode is brought to you by Pepsi Wild Cherry. Pepsi Wild Cherry is bursting with delicious cherry flavor and a sweet, crisp taste that gives you more to go wild for. Getting wild may look different these days, but whether it's opting for a solo Friday binge watch or a big night out, everyone can indulge in their wild side with Pepsi Wild Cherry. Also available in Zero Sugar. So grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Why take one vacation with the family when you could take all of them? With Royal Caribbean, you don't just go to the beach. You visit a private island and race down the tallest water slide in North America. You don't just go for a road trip. You ATV and zip line through the jungle. You don't just go somewhere new. You rappel down waterfalls and discover ancient temples. Because this isn't just any vacation. This is all the vacations. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Hi there, Duke fans. Did you miss us? We've been in your feed a lot lately. We promise this is the last of the preseason podcast. At least that's the goal. I'm Jason Evans here on DBR Podcast, episode 553. Joining me as always, Donald Wine. Donald, how are you feeling this morning?
Doing pretty good. This is one of the best episodes of the year. We love this episode.
We should identify it is Sunday morning. Duke plays their first game tomorrow evening against Dartmouth. I have a frog in my throat, so I sound terrible. It is early enough on Sunday morning that I haven't really had my orange juice yet. So that's what's causing that. Joining us, ladies and gentlemen, is a very special guest. He needs no introduction. Sam Klein.
Woo! Back from the dead, right?
Yeah, exactly.
His retirement lasted 5 days.
Well, I retired, and then all of a sudden you guys started recording every day because obviously I'm still subscribed and I still download and listen to the show. And all of a sudden my podcast feed is just DBR. So sorry, folks, if you have other programming, like I'll plug some programming that I've been listening to this week that's not DBR. The Economist suckered me in and got me to pay for a podcast subscription. I haven't gone in on the full Economist subscription yet. I'm not that intelligent, but they did get me to I think it's like $5 a month or something for the Economist podcast. But now I feel obligated. It's an incredible once you pay for something, how you feel so compelled to use it. So I'm like, I got to listen to every show. I got to be really dialed in. I got to know exactly what they're talking about. So I've been locked in on that. I know we're doing the stats game before we do that. Jason, can I make a couple comments?
Absolutely.
First of all,
the floor is yours.
First of all, greatly appreciate all the messages that we got at DBR Podcast and on Twitter and on the DBR forum, et cetera, about my retirement. I really appreciate all of that. We'll see how long I last on the DBR Podcast at gmail.com email address, because it's a lot. Even when the emails are not about me, there's a lot of emails. So which is great. We love that. But,
and the season's around the corner, which means it's
right,
just going to go up.
In the off season.
Yeah.
When people will start sending in headlines and stuff. So I really appreciate that, everybody. Thank you so much. And then the other thing was, before the actual prediction game, I have one dumb prediction that I would like everyone to chime in on, which is,
I love it.
So
will this count? Will this count in the standings?
Sure. I'll have to remember it because it's completely on me to remember it. But so I moved to a new apartment a few months ago. I live in Cambridge. My apartment is northeast. I have a big window that's northeast facing, and I am a person who likes the cold. So it's okay that I live all the way up here. I turned the air conditioner off about a month and a half ago, and I've just been rolling in my apartment, and I'm on the top floor. All of these are factors to what I'm about to ask you, which is I turned the air conditioner off about a month and a half ago. I've slowly just been like adding layers inside the apartment as things have gotten chillier and chillier. Although we had a weird like heat wave last week where it was like 80 degrees, and I actually did have to turn the AC back on. So I'm in, sweatpants and a light sweatshirt inside at my desk. The question is, on what date will I have to turn the heat on for the first time? Because it will happen. It regularly gets well below freezing in this part of the country in the wintertime. And I can stomach a lot. I don't know that I can do that without the heat on. So on what date will I have to turn the heat on, Jason?
Well, so first of all, can I say this should not count in the standings?
Yeah. I will note it. I will tell you guys. I will be faithful.
Okay. Today is the 5th of November.
Yes.
I don't think you can make it to Thanksgiving. I'm gonna go November.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna go November 18th.
Jason says November 18th, and Donald.
I have this thought out because Sam, you and I are the same. I just turned my AC back on this morning because the temperature outside is like 62 degrees. So
That's terrible, isn't
guy.
it?
I'm that guy. So
I know. So with the reason I mentioned the window, the height of the, I'm in a 4-story building and I'm on the top floor. So I do get a little bit of the heat from down below, and I do get some sunlight from outside, but not very much at this time. I don't get any direct sunlight this time of year. So
right, because we just fell back. So I am the same way as you. I imagine you were going to wake up on December 3rd. You're going to know that we're playing. Ooh. Duke is playing at Georgia Tech that day, and you're going to say, you know what? I'm going to make me some hot cocoa. I'm going to curl up on the couch. I'm going to turn the heat on and watch this game. December 3rd.
Is that a noon game?
It's a 2 p.m. game or 2:15 or something.
On a weekend?
On a Saturday. Yeah.
All right, wait. Sorry, I need to revise my pick because research is important here. I just looked at the weather, the 10-day weather forecast for Boston, for Cambridge. Yep. It's not gonna get the high is going to be in the 50s pretty much consistently throughout the rest of this month.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
you're looking at a farmer's almanac.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'm telling. I can find the weather, the forecast through Sunday, the 19th of November. And like the highs are like 59, 57. I didn't realize that it would stay that warm. So I'm actually going to push Donald. I'm going to go December 8th.
Jason says December 8th. All right. I'll just take the over on this. I think I can do it, but I also I don't have better data than you guys do. You know everything that I would think to make this prediction, but I am going to take the over and I'll let you know if I end up and this is any time of day. As soon as I turn the heat on, that's it. So I might be rolling around in my apartment, in full sweat, big sweats. I'm wearing a thin sweatshirt right now. I might be going full sweats, just to prove you guys wrong. So I'm taking the over, and that's the stats game for 2023, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. No, we're gonna do the. Oh wait, one more thing. Hang on, that was a stupid thing. This is a real thing. So again, I quit 5 days ago, and Duke got another 5-star commitment.
Yeah, we talked about that in the last episode.
I know. No, I know you did, but what? They're still going?
It's crazy. Yeah, for folks who did not realize, Patrick Ngongba. And so Donald, correct me. Am I doing that right? Ngongba,
yeah.
I think it's Ngongba.
Yes. Patrick Ngongba committed to Duke yesterday, Saturday, made his announcement on 247. You can watch the video of the announcement. He's got all his family there with him, including his very tall mom and dad, who we talked about, both outstanding college basketball players, especially his mom, a absolute stud college basketball player and also played in the WNBA, I believe. But yeah, he made his commitment, and we talked about him on the last podcast. I don't know how Jon Scheyer does it. The only thing I can say about this one is at least this one makes sense from a playing time kind of perspective, because there are most assuredly going to be minutes available in the post next season. So that makes sense. But Jon Scheyer is just ridiculous as a recruiter.
A couple of things on this. I know we'll probably touch on it a little bit more in depth during the week because we've just had so much going on. But here's a stat from John Fanta on Twitter. In roughly 18 months since Jon Scheyer became the head coach, officially took over as head coach from Coach K, he has reeled in 11 5-star recruits in 18 months.
That's outrageous.
What?
And Jason, as you have seen out there, and Sam, I'm sure you've seen it as well, that could be obsolete in a few days, because a lot of the crystal ball predictions are now switching VJ Edgecombe to commit to Duke, and that apparently is coming very soon. Obviously, we're not jinxing anything. We're not going to say that it's happening, but the crystal balls are starting to, flow our way. And so we might be talking about another guy this week, in one way or another.
Yeah, VJ Edgecombe is visiting St. John's this weekend. Everyone says it is a Duke versus St. John's battle, and most of the speculation is that he will make his decision very, very shortly after finishing that St. John's visit. And yeah, the momentum appears to be strongly toward Duke. Did Duke bring in another wing, a top 5 in the country wing? It's just like, it's outrageous. It's crazy.
I would really like to have an honest conversation with every one of these recruits about this process, because there are so many factors.
Good luck.
Yeah, well, no, I understand it's impossible, and I just, as a person, like, I wouldn't even, not even for the sake of like writing about it or talking about it, but there are so many factors in here. And by the way, there's NIL in there as well, that we don't know, right, how big the bag is. It could be very, very big. I don't know though that the bag at Duke is so much bigger than it is at all these other schools, especially once you start adding all of these compounding factors. But it's like playing time, it's prestige, it's like the individual coaching staff, it's the individual guys on the team, it's the location, all these kinds of things. But Donald, that stat about how many, or just not even the stat, just the number of how many 5 stars Jon Scheyer has reeled in is outrageous, because there are programs that go decades without reeling in one 5-star recruit. So like programs who are like Power 5 programs who Duke is like playing against. It's nuts.
And no one is more big mad about it than UConn fans. If you look on Twitter, they are still reeling from not getting Cooper Flagg. They thought they were in the driver's seat to land Cooper Flagg, and in the course of a week, not only did they lose Cooper Flagg to Duke, Duke got another 5-star recruut. Like, they're mad.
Honestly, I know other programs hate it when we take their recruits, because we do that all the time. I'll be honest, I'm still mad that Harrison Barnes went to UNC. Like, so I'm
Stay salty, baby. Stay salty.
I'm not getting over it. Like, it was so, you guys remember this, right?
It was like a gut punch. Yeah.
It was so in the bag for Duke that Harrison Barnes was coming, and then we didn't.
When he said, "I'm going to Skype the coach," every Duke fan was like, "Coach K doesn't know what Skype is. Who's he calling?"
This is sort of bad. That was a terrible moment.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that anymore. Sam, the thing I'll say about it is, you mentioned the NIL, and Duke is doing a really good job, both honestly in terms of like collective, the kind of, there's no way to call it other than pay for play. It is pay for play, the kind of pay for play NIL that every school now does, that is not against the rules in any way, shape, or form. Duke's doing a good job with that. Maybe not what Kansas, Arkansas, there are a few other schools that are sort of really well known for it. But I think that the thing that's really working for Duke in all this recruiting stuff is the brotherhood. These guys recognize all these players that Duke's going after are NBA prospects, and they recognize that Duke does a tremendous job of preparing you for the NBA, both on the court and off the court. And I think that, all Duke's connections in the NBA, all the Duke players that are in front offices and things like that, I think that when these kids come and visit, Jon Scheyer and the program explains to them exactly what the path looked like, and the way that being part of the brotherhood helps you along that path. And I think these recruits get it, and they're like, yeah, okay, so my playing time, I may struggle to get playing time right away, but I'll get it eventually, and it's going to lead me to a way more lucrative career in the end.
And also, I know a lot of these guys aren't thinking about graduation from college, but Duke still sets them up to eventually get a degree down the line. Like, even if they only stay for a year or two, if they go in the NBA and they make millions of dollars and they're doing classes on the side, if they do just about any, online program at any of these schools, they look at the Duke transfer credits and they go, oh, never mind. You don't need to do that many courses to graduate from here, right? Like, a lot of people, if we talk about on the other side, transfer credits for people coming to Duke are very difficult. Like, a lot of schools just don't translate one for one, like for like, to Duke University. And that's why we've had a lot of issue sometimes, especially over the past year, with people coming in as transfers. But I think when it goes the opposite way, people look at Duke and they see, oh, this guy spent a year at Duke. He went through 4 semesters because he had summer school. He's got X amount of credits. That we're taking all of these. So it sets people up down the line if they want to pursue a degree after their playing days are over.
And it really, I don't know how much they were thinking about this like 10, 15 years ago, but Duke did a great job of creating the whole brotherhood branding like way before it was actually necessary, such that now, like, you see NBA teams' social media when, when the Magic plays the Pelicans and there's a picture of Paolo Banchero standing next to Zion Williamson, the Magic tweet out like, oh, the brotherhood, like, back together. Those guys didn't even play together in college. And I don't know, maybe there's somebody from the Orlando Magic who went to Duke who like thinks about this stuff, but there are alumni from every school, like all over the NBA, not as many as there are at Duke, but there are tons of, moments like this. And I don't think about it, right? When I watch an NBA, I think about Duke guys in the NBA, but when I'm watching an NBA game, I'm not like looking for Kansas players or looking for Kentucky players, but somehow this thing is permeated like way past just Duke social media.
And it's not like they take pictures of it, right? You don't see Anthony Davis with Malik Monk, who both went to Kentucky, but didn't go to school together. Oh, the Kentucky brothers are back again. Like, you never see that, but for you don't see it for UNC that much, but for Duke, every time a Duke player sees another Duke player, it doesn't matter who it is. They're taking pictures together, they're vibing, and it's all over the place.
Yo, Donald, you don't see it for UNC. There are not that many UNC guys in the NBA right now.
Hey, I didn't want to say it. I didn't say it.
There are,
Jason. I didn't say it.
Come on.
And they're not prominent players. Like with the Duke guys, it's like, oh, Orlando and Boston are playing. That's Jason Tatum against Paolo Banchero. Like, that's the matchup that matters. But like for a lot of these other schools, like, we got plenty of NBA guys. That eighth man over there, that dude, he went to our school.
That's the reason why I said Kentucky. They're the only team that has more players in the NBA than we do.
I turned on the opening night to watch Wembanyama play the Mavs, and I forgot how much of a Duke game that was going to be because Derek Lively had the double-double. Trey Jones obviously plays a big role for the Spurs. Seth Curry's on the Mavs.
Kyrie.
So Kyrie's on the Mavs. So
Kyrie.
Forgot about that. Amazing. Hey, one more thing before we go to the break and then do the stats game. Duke is bowl eligible. And I don't know if you guys admittedly I'm behind on your show. We talked about it.
Yes, we did.
How many? I have no idea what the answer to this question is. How many teams have reached bowl eligibility with 3 different starting quarterbacks?
What, in their history?
None.
Oh, you mean this season?
You mean in one season?
Whoever. When did that happen? 3. It's like the game was just into November. Duke reaches bowl eligibility. Look, Duke doesn't even have a bad, Duke doesn't have a bad record, right? Like, they're 6-3. It's not like they eked into bowl eligibility at the end of the season. They're 6-3. They still have opportunities to add to that win total, and they're rolling with the third guy in the quarterback room. So, man, that is super impressive. Very cool, and congratulations to the team. And I hope I don't know I haven't looked at the bowl lineup yet, but hoping I get to make it to whatever that game is this year. That would be great. And who knows who will be playing? Maybe Donald will be playing quarterback for Duke by the time.
I don't know. They won't be playing QB, man. I'll be real.
Mike Elko might be playing quarterback for Duke by then. All right. I think that was it for me.
All right. So we thought we were going to start the stats game like 10, 15 minutes ago. Instead, it's time for a quick commercial break. When we come back, the annual DBR stats game, our predictions on the upcoming season. Get a pen and paper, people. Follow along. Here it comes. Stay with us.
Why take one vacation with the family when you could take all of them? With Royal Caribbean, you don't just go to the beach. You visit a private island and race down the tallest water slide in North America. You don't just go for a road trip. You ATV and zip line through the jungle. You don't just go somewhere new. You rappel down waterfalls and discover ancient temples. Because this isn't just any vacation. This is all the vacations. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
We're back from the break. I'm Jason. He's Donald. He's Sam. And Sam is now in charge. Sam, take it away with the annual DBR stats game.
I think normally when we do this, in years past when we've done this, I think we do take the whole game, the whole show, including taking the break. And today we're starting after the break. So
this could be a long show.
Is what it is.
The listeners know more than we do because they can see this in their feed. But and also I added a few categories this year. So
also Sam, it's been a week. We had to catch up after,
Yeah, exactly. Well, you guys
after
did
a
like
week
7
apart.
shows.
Yeah.
So a lot happened at that time. Okay, so for those who are joining us for the first time, welcome to the DBR Stats Game. This is our annual preseason. I guess it's our preseason preview. It's our team preview for the year. And the way we think about it is all summer we talk about the players who are coming in, right? We really start talking about them around when they're about to commit, right? By the time Cooper Flagg shows up at Duke, we're going to feel like we already know him. Even though most people not for Cooper Flagg, but for most players, you don't really know them until they actually step out on the court. They've had basically 2 opportunities to do that on television this year. They had Countdown to Craziness and they had the game against UNC Pembroke. Neither of those is a great representation of what the team is going to look like this year. They start that this week, Monday night against Dartmouth, and then obviously Friday night against Arizona. I'm going to be in the building. Donald might be in the building for that one. We'll see.
Still trying. Unlikely at this point, but still trying.
So we're working on that. But lots of opportunities early in the season to find out who Duke is. But so we figure it's not worth kind of like going over like, okay, Jeremy Roach is on the team this year. What's he going to do? We talk about him all the time. The way that we do this is a stats prediction game. So I've got a list of stats. I sent this to you guys last night. You had plenty of time to prepare. You had all night to do your research. Jason has all of his numbers ready to go. I will remind the listeners. We have now had 2 different listeners offer to buy us a trophy. I have not followed through on that offer. So that's on me. Maybe now with all my free time, I can get around to buying us a trophy. It would be great.
I prefer a belt. I think a belt would be better than a trophy. I would wear a belt.
I'm getting a trophy. No, you're not in charge here. This is my thing. We're getting a trophy.
A crown. We could get a crown.
Maybe I'll get a matching crown. But I would like to maybe have it in my Zoom background, so people can be like, oh, what's that great trophy? Did you win, some sports thing? And I'll be like, yes, I did win a sports thing, but it was a sports talking thing. So it's different. Anyway, we'll see. So we do this every year. I don't know how many years we've been doing it many years now. Jason won last year in a nail biter, in an absolute nail biter. So we're coming back this year, and Donald and I are determined to unseat him. Gentlemen, time for the stats game. 2023, 2024. Are we ready to go? I see nods. Let's get this thing started. First category. Who is going to lead Duke and we do the same 5 categories to start every year. Who's going to lead Duke in points per game? I'll remind you that last year, Kyle Filipowski led Duke with 15.1 points per game. Donald, what is your guess?
It's Kyle Filipowski.
It's Kyle Filipowski. Jason?
Yeah, I'm the guy who made all the noise about all these other people who could maybe lead Duke in scoring, and yet here I am in the stats game, and I'm going to tell you that the answer is Kyle Filipowski.
So let's skip ahead to the tiebreaker, which we do here, which is what will Kyle Filipowski's points per game total be, Donald?
I think Kyle Filipowski is going to learn very quickly, as will the rest of the nation, that he is him. He's going 17.3 points per game.
Donald, we had the same number. All right. I will go under it. So I will take 17.2. Donald's got 17.3. Jason, what was your prediction for Kyle Filipowski's points per game?
So I want everyone to know that I am not going to do the whole game theory thing where
that's fine.
I box you in. The number I had written down, because I expected we would have a tie in this category, was 16.4.
Okay. Jason's got 16.4. So I've got the hardest opportunity here at winning this category, but I will take it. I feel very confident that Kyle Filipowski will average exactly 17.2 points per game. Let's move to rebounds per game. Kyle Filipowski also led this category last year. He did not quite average a double-double. He slowed down towards the end of the season. He averaged about 9 rebounds a game for Duke. So, Jason, is Kyle Filipowski going to lead the team in rebounding this year?
Yes, he is. And in fact, he's going to average 9.3 rebounds per game.
Ooh, and Donald, how many rebounds do you believe that Kyle Filipowski will have this year?
8.8. And yes, I did pick Kyle Filipowski.
Yeah, I'm skipping that part. Hey guys, I know we said on the my goodbye episode, 6 weeks ago, that I'm always the pessimistic one. I'm going optimistic this year. Kyle Filipowski's averaging a double-double for Duke. He's going to get 10.2 rebounds a game.
Ooh, I like it.
And
Nice.
and I'll tell you why I think that. The same reason that it was easy to pick who was going to lead the team in rebounding this year is also the reason that Kyle Filipowski will average a double-double. He's the one that benefits most from the roster turnover that we're going to see this year. When we talk about the guards in a minute, which we're going to start doing very soon, the answers we're going to give are, I predict that the answers we're going to give are, for this category, I really thought it was Jared McCain, but you could have talked me into Tyrese Proctor or Jeremy Roach as well. So we're going to hear that a lot. I think the fact that Duke doesn't have a clear other big man, there's lots of guys who will get rebounds. Mark Mitchell will get rebounds. Ryan Young will get rebounds. Sean Stewart will get rebounds. TJ Power might get rebounds depending on how much he plays. All of those guys will get rebounds. Kyle Filipowski will be the only big rebounder for Duke this year. So I think he's getting more. There's my logic.
I like it is flawless, sir.
What can I say? I'm a savant. Who will lead the team in blocks per game? And I will note, so last year, Jason got this number exactly right or he was off by 0.1 for Derek Lively. Duke obviously doesn't have Derek Lively this year. So everyone else that's returning averaged less than 1 block per game. I will go first. We'll give the names first because I'm not sure everyone's going to pick the same answer. And then we can come back and do tiebreakers. So I've got Mark Mitchell. Donald, who do you have leading the team in blocks per game?
Sean Stewart
and Jason.
Kyle Filipowski. Like you said, they're not. There's no one else going to play big man minutes the way he's going to play them, and I think Flip's going to lead the team in block shots.
I felt like I have a general sense that we are going to see a huge defensive emergence for Mark Mitchell this year. I'm just thinking that there's a lot of opportunities for him to not have to. There's a lot of other defensive talent on the floor, and he's going to feel like he needs to fill the void a little bit for Derek Lively not being there, which is going to give him a lot of opportunities to make defensive highlights.
I agree with you on Mark Mitchell. I think the thing about Mark Mitchell is he's not going to let guys get to the basket so he can block them. That's my thing. Is defense is going to be where they're either taking jumpers that are going to go wide or someone else is going to steal it from him, but he's not going to let them get to the basket. So there's not going to be a lot of opportunities for him to blocks.
This will be a tough category. This is watching this category this year for Duke. I think it's going to be like betting the overs. It's going to be like betting the overs on Big Ten games. You just don't you don't want to do it.
Can I just say that I can't wait till next year when we all pick Cooper Flagg and we're like, how many blocks per game? And one of us is going to be above 3. I may be above 4.
Can't wait. All right. Who's going to lead the team in assists per game? And again, we might all pick the same guy, but we might not. Jason, you're going first.
Yeah, we're all picking Tyrese Proctor.
I've got Tyrese Proctor. Donald, do you have him too?
I do, yes.
So, Jason, what's the number?
I'm going to go 5.4.
Ooh, I like it. I had 4.7. Donald?
4.5.
Oh, you guys. Just
boxing you in left and right,
just
man.
Boxing me in at every opportunity. Steals per game. Jeremy Roach won this one last year, but Kyle Filipowski was also pretty good at stealing the ball. And I think I lost my order here. I'll go first on this. I've got Kyle Filipowski this year leading the team in steals. Donald.
I'm going with Caleb Foster.
And Jason.
I like the pick, Donald. I went Tyrese Proctor on this one as well.
Ooh, everybody's got different answers. I like it. Yeah, this is one where
this is going to be the close. I predict this will be the closest battle between multiple players.
By the way, Sam, I think the flip pick is a pretty good one on steals. I actually like that pick a lot.
And
didn't he lead the team in steals last year, or was he close?
Roach led the team in steals, but again, this was not a category where Duke was excellent.
Right.
We'll talk about the Duke defense in more detail as we get a little farther down. But what is Duke's defense question going to look like this year is maybe my biggest overall topic for this team. All right, let's pivot back to the offense. highest field goal percentage on the team. And if you remember who it was last year, then hopefully it's not that hard of a pick, Donald.
Ryan Young.
Yeah, and Jason?
You're going to laugh. Sean Stewart.
Ooh, okay. So Donald and I have Ryan Young, and Jason has Sean Stewart. Jason, would you like to speak against last year's leading field goal percentage maker for Duke?
No, I think Ryan Young is an outstanding player. His field goal percentage will be high. I don't think he will duplicate what he did last year. Last year, I think, was a little bit of an outlier for him in terms of field goal percentage. But I think Sean Stewart is pretty much only going to shoot when he actually has like a for sure shot. So I think I could see Sean Stewart exceeding 70%. I know that sounds crazy, but I really think that could happen.
Which of these two guys is more likely to take a Marshall Plumlee 3 this season?
Oh, Ryan Young for sure.
Ryan Young.
He's not going to get in trouble for it.
No,
I think
we've seen him in practice.
I think he has leadership. I think he has the green light to take one.
Well, hold on. We've seen him in practice. We should almost do, Ryan Young total 3-pointers. I might go as high as 3.
No.
Hey, we have a couple other dumb categories to get through. Highest 3-point field goal percentage. So the last one was all field goals, not 2-pointers only. Last one was all field goals. Highest 3-point field goal shooting percentage. And Jason, I think you've got this one first.
Jaden Shoot will have the highest 3-point field goal percentage of the team.
And we've set the rule for this one in the past that you need to have taken, I think, at least half as many field goals, or 3-point field goals as the team plays.
Half an attempt per game. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if Duke plays 35 games this year, then you have to have taken at least 17 and a half field goals. So Jason's got Jaden Shoot. I've got Jared McCain. Donald, who do you have?
I also have Jared McCain.
Ooh, okay. So Jason's the one
Can I say, I think we're all sleeping on Caleb Foster. I don't think volume wise, but I think there's a very good chance Caleb Foster has a high field goal 3-point.
Jason, just because we didn't pick somebody doesn't mean we were sleeping on him. Like there's a lot of guys who could qualify in this category. Hey, if Ryan Young takes 17 attempts, maybe he does it, but we don't know. This is why we play the games.
I thought that I was between Foster and McCain when it came to picking this topic. The other thing that I'm curious about that we'll get to in a second, because we are going to predict Caleb Foster's 3-point percentage, is whether any of these guys are going to hit or get near 40% for Duke this year. Because one of the big things that the team was missing last year was a reliable 3-point shooter. So keep an eye on that one. We'll come to one of my favorite categories. How many players are going to lead Duke in scoring in a game? And I will remind you before we pick this one that 8 different guys did it last year, even Jalen Blinks. So I'm going first. 8 last year. I'm picking 9. I think this team is going to be wild, tons of fun. So I've got 9 guys leading Duke in scoring. Donald.
I only have 6. I think there's going to be guys that get close, but I think in the end, only 6 lead the team in scoring in a game.
Jason.
I vacillated between 5 and 6. I went with 6, but for the sake of the game, I'll ratchet it back to 5. I agree with you, Sam. I think this team's going to be a lot of fun, but I think there are some guys in this team who are just going to put up points, and I think only 5 guys are going to lead this team in scoring this year. And you ready for it? Mark Mitchell will not be one of them.
Ooh,
that's a bold. I'm writing that one down. So Jason said that Mitchell won't lead the team in scoring.
Well, if you remember last year, if I remember correctly, he was like the last guy to lead the team in scoring in a game, like to get it up to 8. I think he was one of the last ones. Yeah,
we will see. Okay. On the topic of 3-point shooting, we're back on 3-point shooting. And this was one that was a little sad last year for a guy who otherwise had a stellar freshman campaign. Kyle Filipowski hit under 30% of his 3-point attempts. We said throughout the season that the shot looks good. He's getting it in rhythm. He's just not making them. So for this year, what will Kyle Filipowski's 3-point field goal percentage be? Donald, I'm coming to you first.
I think he's going to be better about it because he's not going to take as many attempts as he did last year, given that he's probably going to remain, or at least try to go to the basket quite a bit more. Also, as I mentioned at the top, he is him. So I'm going to go with 36.1%.
It's a big number. Jason?
I think he'll be better than last year. I don't think he'll get as high as Donald. I went with 34% for Kyle Filipowski this year.
I also had 34%. I think I actually and I would have taken the under on that if you had told me like that was the number. So let's do this. Jason's 34, and I'll just be 33 because I could even be convinced that it's lower than that. It's a big margin to make up, even like from where he was last year. I would be very happy for Donald to be right about this prediction. That would be insane. All right. Here's one that sort of gets to the topic of guard minutes, because we've talked about how Duke has two really great guards coming back this year in Jeremy Roach and Tyrese Proctor. But Duke also has two guys who have been vying for the last starting spot and who very much would make claims to being 30-minute a game ACC players if given the roster opportunity. So how many minutes per game will Jeremy Roach average this year, keeping in mind that he averaged 33 minutes a game last year? And the other wrinkle in here that I would like you to think about is that we've only seen one Jon Scheyer season. We saw 40 Coach K seasons where he whittled the lineup down to like 5 or 6 or 7 guys if he was feeling really generous. So a guy like Jeremy Roach on a Coach K team coming into this season, we would all be like, he's averaging 37 minutes a game. He's getting every touch, like no questions asked. He's like experienced. He's got everything going for him. But this is a Jon Scheyer team, and we don't know what that's going to look like. Jason, how many minutes will Jeremy Roach average this season?
So, yeah, I think that Jon Scheyer has a deeper bench than Coach K did. So after 33 last year, I think that Jeremy Roach only averages 30 minutes per game this year.
I've got 31 because I was thinking along the same lines. Donald, are you going at least as high as he was last year?
You said he was at 33 minutes a game.
33 last year.
I don't think he's going to have that many, but I agree with both of you that when it comes time to, you think about, he's going to start every game that he's healthy. He's going to be in the game at a lot of crunch time because he's the floor general. And as we saw last year at times, he was the man down the stretch for Duke when there was crunch time going on. I'm going 31.7 minutes per game.
Okay. Look, you keep boxing me in, I'm going to keep winning. I think it's all just pressure, baby. Next category. This is one that is a specific reference to the exhibition game from the other night, where Tyrese Proctor hit 4 threes, I think in the first, before the first TV timeout?
In 3 minutes. 4 threes in 3 minutes.
So he didn't do that last year. I don't believe he did it once. He didn't hit 4 threes in a game once last year. So how many times in the non-preseason this year will Tyrese Proctor hit 4 threes in the game?
Sam, you go first.
This is mine first. I had 3 instances of this. Donald.
4.
Jason wait, before Jason guesses, I know he's going to guess a ridiculous number.
Do it. Go ahead, do it.
No,
do it.
I also had 3. 4 3-pointers is a lot of 3-pointers.
That's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot of threes.
Yeah.
The next one, I'm bringing this back, and I'm doing a little bit of wishful thinking here. Mark Mitchell did have one 10-5-5 game last year. I double-checked it. It was late in the season. He had one 10-5-5 game. To remind the folks, this was 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists.
This is the Wendell Moore statistic.
Well, no. We said the 10 has to be points, but the 5 and 5 can be any other positive category.
Right.
It could be blocks, steals, assists, whatever.
This was the Wendell Moore Jr. category, because he was an expert at hitting this stat line, a stat stuffer, if you will. I have this inkling that Mark Mitchell is going to create 10-5-5 games this year. There's just something about his game that tells me that he's going to be a little all over the place. So I've got Donald picking this one first.
I got him doing 2.
Jason?
1, and I almost went 0. I just think the assists aren't going to get there for him. He only averaged 1.2 assists per game last year. And in fact, so when I pick 1, I think he'll have a 5 steal game.
I was going to say, I was thinking more like a couple of games where he steals. I think he's going to have games where he's going to get very close, but not actually get it. Like he may get, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, but 8 points. Because again, that won't count. So he's going to have some games where he gets close, but I think he crosses the threshold twice.
You guys got me nervous that now I'm being too optimistic. I got 3 here. I think he did it
Perfectly
once
good
last
number.
year. And
I hope it happens for you, Sam. I really do.
Yeah.
Can't wait. All right. We've talked about the starting lineup a little bit. We know as much as we can know anything. We don't know anything, but as much as we can know anything, we know that Jon Scheyer is going to start Kyle Filipowski, Mark Mitchell, Tyrese Proctor, and Jeremy Roach on this team, which mean because they're all returning players. They all got a lot of starts, especially at the end of the season last year. So they're all penciled or even penned in, maybe erasable penned in for starting jobs this year. Those are jobs that are theirs to lose, which means there's one more spot left. We've talked throughout the offseason at different points about the potential for each of Jared McCain, Caleb Foster, Sean Stewart, and TJ Power all to have breakout freshman campaigns for Duke. And by the way, Jaden Schutt is still on the bench and could emerge at any time. Ryan Young got starts last year for Duke. It is not crazy that Ryan Young would start games again for Duke this year. So among all of the other players on the team, and only counting games where those other 4 guys, the core 4, games where the core 4 are all starting, who's getting the most starts?
All healthy.
Yeah, all healthy. Who's getting the most starts in those games that's not those 4 guys? Jason.
Jared McCain. In fact, I think that I think it's very possible that Duke will have the same 5 starters in every game this year.
Wow.
Barring injuries.
I also picked McCain. I wouldn't go that far, but Donald, who do you got?
I also have McCain. Do we need to have a tiebreaker of how many games?
Let's go second place. Jason's going none because he thinks it's everybody.
Well, wait, hang on.
If you were going to guess a second place guy.
Yeah, actually, no. Second place, I'll say nobody. I think that McCain starts every game he can.
I've got Caleb Foster as the backup to Jared McCain. And Donald, who do you have?
Ryan Young.
Okay, so now we've got Jason says nobody else. Donald says Ryan Young. I have to type these out. This is too complicated for me. And Sam has Caleb Foster. Great, fantastic. Love this. Okay.
If I think Donald's going to win this category. If I could have picked someone, it would have been Ryan Young.
Now here's another question that Jason.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Is Scheyer are we going to do a senior day kind of thing? I guess that maybe.
Well, it won't matter because that category is only about those 4 core guys starting. So.
Well, what other seniors do we? It's only Ryan Young, right?
Yeah,
Neil
I mean,
Bekovich
that's what
is
I
not
was
going
like.
to get a.
If I lose this category because Ryan Young starts.
We'll leave technicalities out of that. I'm not penalized. I'm not penalizing you in the event that Jon Scheyer has a Freaky Friday moment with Roy Williams this year. That's sort of out of the possibility space. We don't. No one wants that. Do we want? I don't want that.
But even with this category, Jason, if there's a senior day moment where Spencer Hubbard and guys like that end up starting, that doesn't count because the category is if the core 4 start, who's going to start the most alongside those 4. So if one of those guys don't start, that game is completely thrown out. We talked about that.
No, I hear you. Yeah. I got you.
We're just blindly speculating as we are wont to do.
Come on, Spencer Hubbard, be the hero.
How many guys are going to fill that 5th starter spot was my next question, which means I already have Jason's answer, which is 0.
One. No.
We'll just guess 1. Oh, sorry, he's got 1 because that's the only number he's got. I've got 3.
Wait. My prediction is that Duke will start 5 players.
I would hope so.
Donald, how many different guys are going to get that 5th starter spot?
We mentioned 3 guys, and I think those 3 guys are going to be the people who fill that 5th starter: Jared McCain, Ryan Young, and Caleb Foster.
So Donald and I both have 3, and Jason's got 1. You know what? I admire this. And by the way, on the topic of, I hope that you're right, Jason. I really hope that you're right because if Jon Scheyer doesn't have to change his starting lineup this season, that means things are going very well for Duke.
Right.
All right. Ryan Young minutes per game. Ryan Young last year averaged 16 or 17.
17.7, I think was the number.
17.7. So I've got him basically at that. And the considerations here to remember were 1, Duke had Derek Lively, but 2, Derek Lively was hurt for big chunks of the year and had foul trouble, did not demonstrate the ability to play 30 minutes a game. I think if Duke runs back last season at full health, the way that Jon Scheyer envisioned, Derek Lively would have played many more minutes than he did and would have started every night. So Ryan Young got starts
like he is for the Dallas Mavericks.
Like he is for the Dallas Mavericks and like playing awesomely. Not surprised, by the way, that Derek Lively is having fun in the NBA. Seems.
Wait, folks, go back and listen to our NBA draft recap. We all said Lively was one of the steals of the draft.
So
okay, sorry.
so on that topic, how many minutes per game will Ryan Young average this season? I've got him at 18. Donald.
I got him a little lower. I think we're going to go small for large stretches of the season. And so, especially when you consider that Jared McCain is probably going to start most of these games, as we just discussed. So I'm going 14.3 minutes per game, but I also think he's going to be one of the most efficient players on the floor in that time.
Jason?
I had exactly 14 minutes per game for Mr. Ryan Young.
All right. I like where we're going here. We talked about 3-point shooting, and we talked a little bit about Caleb Foster, who none of us picked to lead the team in 3-point field goal percentage. But how high will Caleb Foster's 3-point field goal shooting percentage be this season, Donald?
Guys, I'm going pretty high. I got him at 38.5%.
That's a big number. Jason?
That's exactly. I had 38.5 also. Exactly.
All right. Who's got the Donald seemed really enthusiastic about going high. So I think I'm going to give Donald the over and Jason the under.
Yeah, I'll put me down for 38.4. That's fine.
Great. I was not as optimistic. I went for 36. So again, happy for you guys to be right over me, but we will see how that works out.
If it's 38.43, Jason, I'm going to be upset.
How many points per game will Jared McCain average, Jason?
Wait, I have to find it on my list. Oh my gosh, I can't believe where's the Jared McCain points per? Oh, I've got him at 13.2 points per game.
Like this. I had him at 12, Donald.
I had him at 13.1.
No, you didn't.
Yes!
Put me in there.
I've got the over, baby.
You got look, you it is what it is, right? This is unfortunately for all of us how we play the game. Sean Stewart's minutes per game. This is a topic that I am fascinated by because it appears that the nexus of is Duke playing small? Is Sean Stewart ready? What's Ryan Young going to do? Like all of these factors, like some of this is external to Sean Stewart and some of this depends entirely on his play, which we were very excited about a few months ago. The reports so far are maybe he's not quite ready yet, but there are a ton of physical tools there that could tell you that Sean Stewart is ready to step in. I've got 19 minutes a game for Sean Stewart.
I got him at 14. I think a lot of that's going to be played with alongside Caleb Foster and or Jared McCain, because so far this season, I've seen a lot of great chemistry from those guys when they're on the floor together. So 14 minutes per game.
And I've got him right in the middle of you guys. I'm at 16 minutes per game for Sean Stewart.
I think all of those are reasonable guesses. I might be high, but I also get this sense that he's going to figure something out. So we'll see.
Yeah. So, it'd be interesting with this is like, what's your number in November and December? And what's your number, come January, February, March? Because I think it may be like down 11 or 12 early in the season. And it may be pushing 20 once we get to ACC time.
You're also going to my comment about how lots of different guys are going to lead Duke in scoring this year. I do think you're going to see a lot of Shire mixing and matching a little bit early in the game to see who's hot and then continuing with that. We didn't see Christian Reeves in the preseason game. So we believe that he's hurt. He's confirmed hurt.
But not a very minor,
but not seriously hurt.
Yeah.
How many ACC games only? How many ACC games will Christian Reeves play in, Donald?
I'm going kind of low here. I'm going 4.
Jason?
Wow, that's really low. I will tell you that last year he played in 7 ACC games, and every single one of them, there was at least a 16-point margin of victory or loss. He also played in the Miami game that we lost, but yes. So I think it's going to be a little bit higher than last year. I went with 10 ACC games, but again, I think it's very possible that a lot of those are 1 or 2 minutes played at the very end of the game.
I am pessimistic about this. I think that the bench is already deep without him, and Jon Scheyer is going to have a hard time finding space for him. I only predicted 3 ACC games in which Christian Reeves plays, and that's also a little bit of a hedge on he's already starting the season hurt. We don't expect that he's going to be hurt by the time ACC play rolls around. So that'll be an interesting one to track, although hopefully not highly impactful to the outcome of the season. Jason, how many games will Jaden Schutt make at least 3 3-pointers?
No one. There's no one on the planet other than maybe his parents higher on Jaden Schutt than I am, and I just keep on getting disappointed by what ends up happening. I went with 2 games. There will be 2 games in which Jaden Schutt hits 3 3-pointers.
I went higher.
I love
went
it.
For 4.
Yes. Thank you.
Donald?
I went lower. I went with 1.
You went with 1. Gentlemen, we are on to Donald's favorite category. It is his favorite category every year. He always gets it wrong. So we're going to let him go first. Donald, even though it's my turn to go first, I'm letting Donald go first. Donald, how many 100-point games will Duke have this season?
42 minus 40. 2.
Jason.
We're going 2.
Everyone should be required to remember the year that Donald picked that Duke would have 10 100-point games. Oh my God, that was an amazing.
What year was that? Jason?
2018,
2019. 2018, 2019.
Not
when
we started
off,
scored 100 points 10 times.
118 points first game, and everybody's like, "Man, Donald might be onto something." And then they just do the rest of the season. So I'll take the L.
Okay. So I did some research on this. We always look first to the teams that Duke plays that frankly are less than impressive, that where we think Duke may really run up the score a little bit. Both Southern Indiana and Queens are teams that play really fast. Queens plays really fast. Queens tempo last year was like top 40 in the country, and teams that play at a fast tempo, you can usually get up and down the floor and score on those teams. So I said that Duke would have three 100-point games this year. I think Southern Indiana, I think Queens, and I think we'll find another one somewhere on the schedule. I think this team is so deep that when we, start playing the bench guys, we're just going to be still pounding teams.
Yeah. I am taking 0. I don't think Duke is going to do it this year. I don't know that I'm not convinced yet that Duke is going to play fast this season, even if its opponents are playing fast. And usually the better team is the one forcing the tempo. So we'll see about that one.
Sam, I will say that I think you're wrong. We should look at, like, I haven't done research into this to check, so we can't do it, but I bet Duke's tempo is top 30, top 40 in the country. I think we're going to play fast.
So we will see. Let's move on to the next category, which I think is, in a way, is Jason's favorite category. The one where he always schools us. So Jason, how many total points will be scored by walk-ons this season? And we are counting Spencer Hubbard and Stanley Borden as the walk-ons this year. They are both returning players. They are experienced. They have logged tens of minutes between them in their careers at Duke. How many points will they score?
I'm going to be bold. This is a big number from me. 3.
I hear you that it's bold because I went with 2. Donald, what'd you have?
Last year, guys, they had I'm trying to think of the number. Was it 0? I think it was 0.
It was 0.
I am also going to go bold with you guys, but I might be the boldest. I'm going with 4. 4 points.
So Jason's banking on either a 3 or an and 1.
This is going to be a Spencer Hubbard 3-pointer.
You're sure it's not a Stanley Borden 3-pointer?
It's not a Stanley Borden 3-pointer. It is a Stanley Borden 3-pointer.
If Stanley Borden hits a 3-pointer this season,
we're going to need a new stadium.
I'm going to have to come back. I'm going to have to come back on the show. No, I'm not going to make that promise. But if Stanley Borden makes a 3-pointer, I will do something outrageous. Something truly outrageous. Guys, how many players are going to log 300 minutes for Duke this year? There were 9 last year. I'm going to start this category off. I think 10 guys for Duke are going to play at least 300 minutes this year. Donald.
I have 9, the same as last year. I think when it comes down to like Blake's power shoot, I think only one of them will get 300 minutes, but not the other 2.
Yeah, I vacillated between 9 and 10. I'm going to end up, oh God, I was all ready to say 9. I'm going to go 10. What the hell? 10. I think this team...
If you have 9 ready, you're 9. So that's just how the game works. You don't we don't change predictions. We're men of integrity.
Put me down for 9. That's fine. Put me down. I said I was vacillating. Put me down for 9. That's fine. 9.
My favorite category. So I'll start this one off. Duke's defensive KenPom rating on Selection Sunday. Last year, Duke ended the season 24th in KenPom in defense. I thought they were going to be way better. KenPom has them tagged as the 22nd best team on defense coming into the season, but KenPom's preseason ratings, particularly on defense, are pretty nebulous in terms of predictability. I haven't checked the other metric sites to see what they're saying, but this is it's very hard to come up with a real preseason prediction on this one. But by the end of the season, and by the way, this does tend to change throughout the year. Even for really good teams, this number can move around. So I've got it at 15 at the end of the year. Donald, what did you have?
I had 16.
Wow. Jason?
I had 11. I think this is going to be a pretty good defensive team.
I hope so. How many road wins is Duke going to rack up this year, Jason?
All right. So Duke has 11 road games. I went ahead and counted.
Yep.
Including games at Arkansas, Miami, and UNC. 3 really tough places to win games. But there aren't a lot of other road venues that I think are really, really difficult for Duke. I think we play at Virginia Tech.
We play at NC State. You know how that goes.
Yeah. All right. You ready? It's a big number. I got 9 road wins.
That is a big number. I had 8, and I thought that I was worried that I was too optimistic. Donald?
I also had 8.
Yeah. I
clearly think Duke's going to have a really good season.
I bet here's what I think is going to happen. I think Duke is going to win 2 of those hard road games that you just mentioned, but it's going to drop a couple stupid ones. NC State is a classic, Duke's a 12-point favorite and loses in Raleigh. That's just, I don't know. I don't know if it's right, but it feels like it happens all the dang time. So let's get to a depressing category around Duke's context this season, which is how many ACC teams are going to make the NCAA tournament. I believe there were 5 last year, which was pretty bad. So, Jason, what do you have here?
I think the ACC will be better this year, but not a lot better. I went with 6.
I also went with 6. Donald?
When we did our bold predictions episode back in September, my bold prediction was that the ACC would lead the conferences and number of teams going to the ACC or going to the NCAA tournament. I have softened my stance, and I think they're going to be tied with the Big Ten. 7. I think you're getting 7 in.
And how many total? We're coming back to an individual stats category, but I'm going to try to tabulate this one this year. How many total 10-5-5 games is Duke going to achieve this year? I went with 6. Donald?
I said Mark Mitchell was going to have 2. I think Duke is going to have 2.
Jason?
So I actually think, Sam, I went with 6 also. Even though I don't think Mark Mitchell's going to do it, I think that you're going to see, especially, there'll be a guy who has a big steals game or something like that. So, yeah, I think 6 is the number.
All right. Final category. How many total games is Duke going to win this season, including postseason? So all games included, how many games is Duke going to win? And this, I will remind you, is the category where you two guys always get too excited, and I always throw cold water on you. So I'm going to let you do that to yourselves first. Donald?
36.
Donald thinks that Duke is going to win 36 games this season while only winning 9 road games.
No, I said 8.
I had 9 road games, and I also think Duke is winning 36
yes,
games.
That's right. 30. Jason's got 36 wins?
I also have 30. I'm not changing nothing. 36 is the number.
36 and 4.
I've got 30 wins for Duke this season.
That is a very Sam, you're going to win this game. I'm saying it right now. You're going to win this category. That's a very reasonable number.
I do it. Look, I would like for you guys to be right. I would like for Duke to go to the Final Four and win the national championship. It is just a hard thing to guess on. I do actually think that Duke will be one of the best 6 or 8 teams in the country.
Oh, you sure? They're ranked number 2 in the polls, dude.
I'm just saying. A lot can change. But it's hard to win that many games. And Jon Scheyer hasn't done it before. So, and Coach K hadn't won a championship until he did, and then he won 5 of them. So I
think we have not seen what happens when you combine returning 5-star players, one and done talents with even more one and done talents. I'm going to go. This Duke team is unprecedented. Well, actually, wait. It's kind of precedented Kentucky did it in 2015. They had a roster. They had a bunch of guys return who could have easily turned pro, and were all sophomores. And even though Duke won the national title that year, that 2015 Kentucky team, that team was eating worlds. That team was crushing people. And I don't know that Duke will be quite at that level, but I think they'll be very, very close. Again, we just haven't. It's been a long time. We haven't seen this kind of a team in college basketball in quite a while. And the last time we did, it was an unbelievable team.
And the great thing about that, this stat is that we're going to, at least this year, we're going to find out very quickly if we're on the right track. We got some pretty tough games to open up the season. So we're going to find out pretty quickly if we're going to be on that track to get to, the high 30s or the low 30s.
Donald, on the topic of Duke, of us finding out how good Duke is early in the season, we hope that Duke's going to take care of business against Dartmouth on Monday night. They are hosting Arizona on Friday. Caleb Love is back in the building. It is going to be.
And then they have Michigan State in a neutral arena like 5 days later.
Right after that. I just, on the Arizona game, since I won't be back to preview this, you guys can't make me keep coming back here.
We can try.
You're still. We've been coordinating the show via a text group for many years, and I see that you're still doing it on the same chain, even though you don't need to. I stop that. So I'll be in the building on Friday, which I'm very excited for. I am not one to do this usually because I feel like the student section is, does exactly what they can. And I know how hard it is to be. I don't know exactly because I haven't been an undergraduate student in a dozen years now, but I know how time consuming and challenging being an undergraduate student at college is today. I hope that all the students show up. For the freshmen, I hope that you are paying attention during you paid attention during the preseason game, and that you pay attention during the Dartmouth game about how to do all the cheering correctly, because this game needs to be out of control. This needs to be, I think, what Jason would describe as vintage Cameron. I don't believe Arizona has ever been to Cameron Indoor before, and this is going to be like a top 5-ish matchup. This is about as big as it gets outside of Carolina games. So I hope that, and it's on a Friday night, right? There is no homework due after this game. You have all day on Saturday to recover from this thing, unless you're, and by the way, the football game is not until 8 p.m. on Saturday night. So you got plenty of time to recover before you drive down to Chapel Hill to watch Duke beat Carolina in football.
Shooters doesn't even open until like 9. So, and the game's at 7. So you're not going to miss any prime Shooters action by going to the game. So go to the game and then go to Shooters.
And Friday night, by the way, Friday night's grad student night at Shooters, So like, I mean, you can go, but it's weird that I was a grad student. I know it's weird. It's different. So don't worry about it. Go to the game, get excited, take whatever substances get you in the mood for being at your absolute best. And I want it to be out of control on Friday night at Cameron Indoor. This is important. This is very, very important that this is the case. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Duke beating Carolina next week. I'm looking forward to Duke beating Dartmouth and Arizona and Michigan State and everybody else. And for us to go undefeated this year, even though I said that we would only win 30 games. And one more thing that I forgot to mention, because it is important. For the game this week, I got my ticket from longtime DBR guy Ozzy, who, if you've been on the DBR forums, you know who he is. So shout out to Ozzy. He's a big time mensch for helping hook me up with a ticket for this week. So thank you to you. Thank you to. Oh, I'm not in charge here anymore. Someone else do the outro.
Okay, that's on me. I think for Donald, for me, Jason, and for our special guest star Sam Klein. This has been DBR podcast. Yes, wait, we're still the DBR podcast.
We're still DBR.
We're still the DBR. Right? Duke Basketball Roundup episode number, I don't remember.
553. Jason's lost it. Jason's lost the plot.
I'm done. Too many numbers. Stats game. Too many numbers in my head. Episode 553. This is the Duke Band to play us out and take us home. Beat Dartmouth.